Catherine Delahunty.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. I'm pleased to take another call on this bill, and I'd like to just cover off a couple of issues that were raised before. The issue of the name of the council, I agree with the Minister about the importance of the word Aotearoa. I would be the first person to say that it is very important to recognise that the foundation of this nation is Te Tiriti o Waitangi, and that should be reflected in the way in which we name our institutions. I have no problem with calling it the Teachers' Council of Aotearoa New Zealand. I don't think there's any problem with including that word. I would hate anyone to think that the Green Party would oppose that. What we're arguing for is a name that reflects the two issues. One, that we are Aotearoa New Zealand, and two, that this is about teachers. And our disappointment is with the first bit, not with the second bit. Just wanted to clear that up for the benefit of anyone listening. Also would like to agree with Tracy Martin's analysis of what happened at the SET committee regarding the Minister's SOP. We never heard anything about it. It was never mentioned. We had a very exhaustive time going through all kinds of issues. There was a great deal of detail on the bill about registrations, about monitoring, about teacher practices, about various rights, but there was absolutely no mention of removing the clause natural justice. And so it has come to us as a surprise. It wasn't something we anticipated. And initially when I looked at the Minister's amendment, I thought, oh, this looks okay. And then it's been brought to my attention and I've realised, no, we need an explanation for this. Perhaps the Green Party could support it if there was an explanation, but we haven't had one. And the challenge was put out probably an hour ago, and we still haven't had one. We need an explanation about why the Minister's SOP is going to remove that clause natural justice. Because it's actually really important when dealing with issues of rights that we address the issue of natural justice. There may be a perfectly harmless explanation, but we didn't hear it at the SET committee, we haven't heard it yet, we would like to hear it. I'd like to also address some of the university issues, because the clear-cut, most outrageous issues in this bill have been around the rights of teachers to choose their own representation on the Teachers' Council, as it was, and the issue around university governance. And there was a really interesting submission at the SET committee by a guy who was an expert in governance and management. And he came to the SET committee and he said, this is bizarre. If you know anything, if a person knows anything about governance and management, management needs to be lean, small and efficient. Governance needs to be broad, inclusive and creative. And he said any modern organisation will have small management and big governance for that reason. So he said that it was completely ridiculous to be making the governance of important educational leading institutions smaller. And although there are places for Māori and a few other places guaranteed, there is so much not guaranteed about this, including the rights of people to dispute the power of the minister, that we had professors come to the SET committee, many professors, not one or two, arguing that this was setting up conflicts with the fundamental purpose of the education system. So not only were they saying you've got governance and management completely wrong, they also said that when the universities are the critic and conscience of society, the university council members must be able to raise difficult issues and disagree. And if you go into the clauses about the removal of people from that council, there's some very interesting language in there which needs to be scrutinised around the removal of people who dare to disagree. The point of governance is that it should be a robust environment where many voices are heard so that disagreement can be worked through, not so that disagreement can be silenced. And that's why, although we agree that on both a teacher's professional body and a university council, there is a role for ministerial appointment, it should not be the controlling interest. And it's very concerning that there's the possibility of removing people who dissent. And that's what the professors were talking about. They were talking about the role of the university, which is an ancient role, or the wānanga, or any other institution, where hopefully the wise heads gather in our society, where they challenge the government of the day, or the thinking of the day, and they tell the country, we must act with a bigger picture. We must act with a wider understanding. We must act with a deeper perspective that only comes from people who are focused deeply on those issues. So limiting the size of governance and removing the free and open ability, Mr. Chair.
Grant Robertson.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much for the call. I'll do something a little unusual at the start with your indulgence, Mr.